Hey, happy Thursday. Thanks for joining me here. Tonight we are finishing up our binding. We got it all ready here. We're finishing that up for the Granny Square Quilt. Finish prepping it. So we have to iron it and press it in half. So that is the plan. And then we'll be working on the back of the Granny Square Quilt. So thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, and it's a time that we can relax and craft together. So again, we are prepping some binding today. I kind of like this part. We're getting it set so we don't have to deal with it later. That'll be nice. And let's do it. All right, guys. So much binding. So we prepped our binding yesterday. We cut our pieces. We needed about eight cuts of fabric, 8 widths of the fabric sewn together to make enough to go around the whole quilt. But then we rounded it up to 9 and then put like some little slivers of blue in it too. So it's going to be kind of a patchworky binding of this dark blue, this white, and then a little freckles of this lighter blue. I think it's going to be fun. So, all right, we ended up at this point here last night where we need to press this whole thing. So I'm going to give it all a press to start out with because it's pretty it needs it. It's pretty wrinkly, and we need to press the seams. So we'll do that first, and then we'll do the big pressing, which is the folding it in half the entire distance to complete kind of the binding here. Thanks for popping in. I see y'all guys coming in here. Nice to see you. Hope everyone had a nice Thursday. All right. I'm going to go that way and this way, and then pop this open and press it flat. Press it open, I should say. There we are. Okay, that'll disperse the bulk, especially since we're folding it in half again. And that's why we cut this at an angle, sew them together at an angle, because when we sew them in half together like this, or press them in half, it's going to disperse the bulk across more area. If we cut it straight up and down, then we would have like a ton of bulk just in one spot. So this kind of disperses it a little bit and kind of leaves the whole thing as flat as you can expect for a seam, I suppose. All right, I'm going to detangle here a little bit. There we are. Okay. Ooh, wow, this second one's really needs a pressing. All right. I pressed it to one side first, the seam allowance, and then the other side just to get it to stand up. Upright, and then it's easier to get in there to press flat. That was a trick. Someone here taught me that. I forget who though. So I've been doing that now when I press open seams, or most of the time at least. I try and press one way, then the next. Then we're good. Ugh, this is just going to be a twisty mess. So when we're done, I'm, done folding it in half and pressing it to the second part of pressing this. I want to wind it all up. I think I'll wrap it around my scrap bin of fabric here, and then we'll take it off, and I'll just clip it so it all stays together. And then I'm just going to store it in that tub that I have this project in. Come on. There we are. And then it'll just live there till we're ready to use it once the entire quilt is done. So that might be a little while yet before we see this binding again. But we'll get there. tough time separating these. There we go. The nice thing about this iron is that I can get it from either side. Both sides have a point here. I'm going to just pop it back in the charger, and it's still hot. I just like putting it back in there, and we'll just detangle this a little bit. So much binding. We overdid it with the binding for sure. We definitely don't need this much, but I like being more safe than sorry when it comes to binding length and having enough. And I'll just keep the rest for some other patchworky quilt later. I'm sure we'll use it. Alright, open, boop. Sure, there might be some tricks to folding this in half and pressing it later, but we're just going to do it. Lots of this dark blue. I think it's pretty though. I'm ready tonight for just a relaxing evening of just pressing. At least a good amount of time of pressing. I know I usually don't like pressing, but I don't know. This feels a little relaxing tonight. Maybe because it's pressing the binding. The thing that I like, the thing that says you're almost done with the quilt. Alright, I think we're just about done here. I think this dark blue is the last one. I have a lot of dark blue on this end and white on the other end, so once we lay out the quilt on the floor, we can kind of decide which end we want to start on. If we want more dark blue in the quilt or if we want more white in the quilt, we can decide and start from that end. All right, so that is that side. So trying to think of what direction I like to do this in better. I think I like going in the same direction, so I'm going to just kind of rotate my whole thing so I don't have to shimmy this all back. And now we're going to just fold it in half. I suppose by folding this side first... Well, I suppose however I wrap it up in the end, I can still decide what I want to do with it, I suppose. So I'm just thinking, oh, if I press it and I wind it in a certain direction, then does that mean I have to start on that end when I do the binding? But I don't think I have to. So I gotta fold it in half the super duper long way. So I'm just kind of laying it on my little mat here. Getting a tiny tish of length, then we're just scooching on down. And then once we're all done, then I will roll this up. This is a little bit of the tedious part. But it's okay. I'm trying not to stretch it and bend it too much, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I'm just folding it to kind of hold it there as I get the iron. So here's our first like bulky area. But again, we spread out that bulk by sewing it at a diagonal. It's gonna be so pretty. See how it's just gonna be patchworky. So this is what it'll look like on the quilt. We'll sew it on one side of the quilt and it'll kind of wrap around. So it'll actually be like itty bitty, even smaller than this really. So we'll just see that little bit of a change of fabric. I think it'll be nice. Oh, and our next bulky seam is here right away. Oh, Nolene says, I use old paper towel rolls to wind binding to keep it in place. I was thinking about that. I was seeing if we maybe had one of those, like in the recycling, but I don't think we have any right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to just wind it around like a larger thing and then just pull it off and let it, clip it together and just let it kind of sit on its own, but it'll be in a bin, so I think it'll be okay. Because sometimes I don't like it wound on something too tight, because then, I don't know, it gets all twisty when you're sewing it onto the quilt. So I think we'll go a little bit bigger. Oh, that wooden doll thing. Oh gosh, what are those called? Like binding buddies, right? I know exactly what you're talking about. I kind of want to get one. I haven't yet. I know what you're talking about though. Oh, you know what? It wouldn't work for my machine, because the idea with that, so a binding buddy, it's just this cute little peg character basically. And you wind your you wind your binding onto it. There's like a little slit to help you wind it, I think. But then you just put it on your sewing machine when you're sewing the binding on, but you put it in like the second slot to hold thread. So a lot of times sewing machines will have like 2 or more like pegs on top for more thread. Mine only has 1, so it wouldn't work for mine. But so you'd put your sewing thread in one, and then you'd put the binding in the other, and then it just rolls off so it doesn't twist or anything at all. So I like the concept. I just never got one. Oh, Gretchen said that she got it from the Fat Quarter Shop. Yeah, that might be a fun thing to get sometime. If I can ever get my the 70s sewing machine, 70s Kenmore sewing machine fixed, that's got 2. So I could get it for that. That's got to get on my agenda, fixing that thing. Okay. Fold. When I'm folding this, I'm making sure that like a seam allowance doesn't accidentally flip the wrong way or something, so I'm paying attention to it. So the light blue with the dots here is kind of a stiffer fabric, and then this dark blue is a much softer fabric, and this white is even like looser and softer. So it's kind of goofy with the 3 different fabrics, but it's gonna be fine. They definitely feel different. They're from 3 different manufacturers. And this one is white with, it has a little bit of printing on it, but since it's mostly white, it's just the bare fabric, so there's no like ink making it thicker or anything. Or dye or anything. these little pops of light blue. Oops, see, this is wanting to bend a little bit in the wrong direction. This dark blue, it's hard to see where it lines up because it just all kind of blends together. My eyes can't focus on it very well. It's got kind of nice out here today. I'm hoping that kind of sticks around for a little. Be nice to open some windows. Oh, thanks, Marie. Marie says she thinks it's very nice binding. I think it's going to be fun. So it'll be patchworky, but not super duper patchworky. I mean, it's still just like 3 colors, and 3 colors that are heavily in the quilt. So in theory, it sort of just blends with the quilt a little bit. All right, we just have a few of these white strips left, and we're good to go. Ooh, got stuck. Ooh, this might be. Oh no, I got 2 more joins. This one and 1 more, I think. Kind of like the white for the binding too. It is Finish It Friday tomorrow, so the first Friday of the month. We stop working on this and break out a project that we're not done with. And I'm thinking about doing more embroidery on that lime apron, some more of that herb embroidery. Although I'm letting you guys know that tomorrow is a little up in the air. Assume I'll be here working on the apron, but it's also my 2nd COVID shot day, so I don't know, if I get the chills or something like that, then I'm not feeling well, then I'll probably just go to bed. So the plan is tomorrow still to do Finish It Friday, but we'll just have to see. Oh, Gretchen says, oh, my embroidery cards were a hit. Yay, that's so awesome. So we ran out of all those cards, but I'm ordering more, so I'm hoping to have more cards available soon. Almost there. last little bit. Okay, there you have it. We have our binding all set and ready to go. But I think I'm going to wind it onto here. And I think how I might do that, just because this will give me kind of a big loop, and then I'll take it off of here, and then I'll be able to put it away. So I think I might just, I don't know, I'm going to clip it here for now, just because I can clip this high. But I think I'm going to just go around and around the bottom like this, and I'll tuck in this bit to the inside. So I'm just trying to think of a way to store this where I'm not like twisting it all up and stuff. So I don't have that binding baby thing, and I don't have like a little roll. And I still kind of not sure if I like it twisted up that small. Although with the binding baby, it's fine because you're putting it on your machine and it's circling off. It's not being like twisted off from the inside or something. But I think this will just be fine. This will be a decent way to store it at least. So I'm just twisting it around, and I put the folded side on the bottom so that when I'm twisting it, it's not like scraping the raw side. Or when I'm rotating it, I mean. I think doing a bigger loop like this, it won't be as super thick either. Then I'll just throw some clips on it, and we'll store it for later. Alright, that's all there is. So I'm going to unclip this, and I should be able to just lift this out. There. Oh yeah, easy. So let's just tuck this back in, and you know what? I think we'll just put a clip on this side, and a clip on this end, and then maybe a few clips around the way to keep it all together. Clips are barely big enough to do this, but I think we're good. Oh, you're giving your grandchildren graduating from high school sewing machines. That's awesome. So that's actually what this sewing machine was. Not for anyone in my family, but it came in a case that said, oh, well, actually, we suspected it. So it says, like, the high school name and the person's name, and we suspect it was, like, a high school graduation present or something. All right, there is our binding. Look how cool it looks just like this in a ring. So that'll give us a little effect of how it's going. All right, so this is just going to sit in my bin like this, my storage bin for this project, like this until we're ready to use it, I think. So that's that. I'm going to scooch this behind me for now. Okay, so next up, we could get out some of our fabric. So here's our fabric from the binding earlier. We used up the dark blue, and then we have all of this fabric that we could just basically start sewing together. So for the back, we need to make it the back is what I'm thinking. So we have a ton of teal. I mean, we probably could get away just making a teal back, which would be fine, but I do like using up scraps that I have. So we have a whole pile of strips, but I think I'll save the smaller pieces to the end. I want to maybe try and sew some of these larger pieces together, although I'm kind of unsure about all this yet. I mean, these are pretty big pieces, some of these. wow, look, this is a funny long strip. So, yeah, I mean, we could just start sewing these together. I mean, a long strip is still not going to be wide enough to make a whole, the whole width of the back. So we could just see, let's unfold some other pieces here. See what else we got. Oh, this is like another super wide piece. So another width of fabric piece. Gosh, these would make good bindings for something. Maybe I don't want to waste, it's not a waste, but these are good pieces of fabric yet. Maybe I want to use them for something. They're all kind of like that. They're all, oh, we must have had, oh, I know what we must have did. We must have had like a yard of fabric, and we just cut strips from these, and that's why they're all various long rectangles. I mean, we could just sew them together and call it a day. See how big it gets. So now here's some smaller pieces, I think. Let's, ooh, and some more little strips, it looks like. Okay, these are definitely smaller pieces. Okay, let's get a funny little edge here. Oh, this is some of that oddball size fabric. Oh, a lot of this is sample fabric that I just got printed for myself to test it out. Wow, okay, so we got large chunks of fabric here. So we're going to have more than enough for a back here, so we could be a little strategic maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do with this. It's pretty green. We could just sew long strips of these together and, you know, just have long strips and kind of call it a day. We could always chop them up and rotate them and move them around a little bit too. But all these with the fabric pieces, so these are just a bunch of little pieces, but all these ones that we have like the full width of fabric, we could just sew those together and assume they're straight and just see what we got. One thing that might be fun is like we could do that, sew them in a bunch of strips, and then maybe we get to something that's like tall enough for our quilt, but then we could chop them like crosswise and then like put like strips of white or something on the inside, so it could be kind of like a little design that we did sort of. So I think that's just an easy plan, like just sew them together. They're all like the width of fabric just about, so we can get away with just sewing one to the next probably. And yeah, we can always chop it up if we want it more interesting later. I think let's do that. Let's remove some of this bulk from the world here. So, all right, I might just leave everything on the table here and just grab and go, leave it messy. So I got this bright green right here. That's the width of fabric. Now this is that wonky one, so I'm gonna just put that one to the side for now. I kind of want to stitch it next to this other green. I think that'd be pretty. So why don't we put these two next to each other? So this side looks like it's been torn straight, which is fine. I'm considering that straight. Let's just do that. I'm going to sew, oh, and this is like rotary cut. I'm just going to sew these two ends together and see what happens. They might even be like different widths. All right, let's just start. That's what we need to do. This is a try, just sew stuff together and see what you end up with scenario, I think. We're in improv land now. Just gotta make sure I get right sides together. And I'm not gonna worry about having like a perfect 1/4 inch seam allowance. I think some people actually on purpose do a larger seam allowance on the backs of their quilts. So I'm just gonna do kind of a large one. That was weird. I feel like I heard a weird ding here. Oh, maybe that, oh, Ashley, thanks for the stars. So maybe that was the ding. Oh, for funny. Oh, thank you very much. So I heard like a weird ding. I'm like, what was that? I think that's what it was. It's so funny, like, you get used to all the different random noises that all the technology makes, so when there's a new one, it's like, what was that? Thank you very much. Oh yeah, so that's the stars ring. That's nice. Oh, Amy says I do a half-inch seams on the back. Okay, so this one's definitely more than a quarter. I don't think we're quite at a half yet. So I'll err on the side of having a little bit bigger seams. So I've heard that before. Do you know why that's why people do that? Like the larger seam allowance on the back? Guess I'm not sure why it would matter if it's a half-inch or a quarter-inch. I'm not sure I'm even going to bother pressing this till I have a couple pieces sewn. Pressing the seams. We'll get these big width of fabric pieces sewn to each other, and then I'll press them. We should have a good big chunk of back done at that point. So this needs to be as big as the back plus several inches all the way around. So let's call it at least 8 extra inches. So that's like 4 inches all the way around. So if our quilt is around 71 inches wide or so, then, and tall, it's the same, it's a square, we need these to be about 79 inches. So if we call that 80 inches, that's just shy of like 2 widths of fabric. 2 widths of fabric is a little bit bigger, but that gives you a sense of even this long width of fabric is still like just over halfway there. Okay. So there's our first little bits. I think I kind of want to sew this guy next to the green. Start on this end. Or maybe we want to do the blue. What else do we got in here? Oh, so this is one of those awkward different size pieces again. This does not feel like it's the width of fabric. Oh, it might be. Oh, it is. So this is the width of the fabric too. Okay, so there's another one. So we have this one and this one. These are actually from the same collection. Let's go this way with it. So those are fun together. Then we have this one, which is width of fabric. Then this guy, is he width of fabric too? Might sew him on next. Yep, he's the width of fabric. So let's, ooh, I got another little strip. I think we'll do him next. Or maybe I think I'm still going to do this one, and then we'll go to like these blues up here. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3. That's what we'll do. So, okay, that'll be our last one, then this one, then this one, and this is the one that we'll do now. Do I want this on the bottom? This could be cute. This could be cute next to this mega bright green. I kind of like that better. I think we're going to go on the bottom for this one. I mean, it won't be the bottom. I'll probably be putting other stuff on it underneath, but I think for the sake of sewing these together, we'll put it on the bottom. There's a lot of selvage on this one, but we'll trim all that off, or we'll just leave it. Okay. I think I got my plan here. Ooh, I'm collecting strips, though, and other pieces as I do this. Oh yeah, I forgot, we're gonna get super big and bulky as we go here too, huh? Again, not my favorite. So this one has that funny pinking shears cut edge, so I'll definitely go a little bit bigger seam allowance on this one. Fuzzles get in there. Alright, get situated. And these might not all be perfectly straight either, which is fine. We're improv piecing, so if it's at an angle, that's fine. It'll make some interesting patterns when we chop it up if we do that. I think I'm going to get the glove on. I do like that little rubber bottom to here to move these large pieces. Help me maneuver them a little bit better. Ooh, I think my machine's moving around again. I gotta get new bottoms for, new sticky bottoms for the feet. I just put the pedal to the metal and it starts shimmy-shamming around. Alright, we're almost to the end. I'm trying to start on the same side each time, just because these ends are all a little bit different length. So at least at the one side, they'll all start at the same time. Alright, I gotta get another leader. My bin of leaders is getting pretty full of finished ones again. I'll have to clean it out. Oh, I feel like I have more than... I guess not. Alright. So, we're getting bigger. Alright, so we have these three pieces together, so that's a big chunk. It's kind of fun. Alright, let's keep going. This is the next piece here. I think this is the right side. Yeah, okay, so I'm actually going to flip this whole thing over here, and we'll line up these two ends. Getting bulky. But I can see the bin again, so that's nice. I'm definitely going to get the glove on again here, because we're going to start to deal with all of the bulk. Just going to get it started. Alright. Oh, Nolene said the bobbin is clanging more. We're getting close. Yep, I did check it yesterday before we started, and it was sort of low, but you know, those low bobbins can still last a little while, so that's a good reminder though. I gotta pay attention on how it's doing here. And I did wind a few more, but like I said, the thread kept breaking, so they're only wound just a tiny hair, but enough for a couple more rows. So I figured, fine, we'll use these up and then I'll figure out how to fix it. Alright, I think I gotta get a True Grip sticker right now. So these are those True Grip stickers for the bottom of your ruler. I have one of these on the bottom of my sewing machine feet so they don't slip on the table here, and I think it needs it right now, this front one at least. So I'm gonna tilt up for a sec. Alright. There we go. I don't think we'll slide around again. Let's hope not. Those True Grips are my secret weapon. So I just put it on that front one. That seemed to slide. I'm sure all four need it, but if just this one is kind of good, and I'm thinking that'll help. Okay, getting there. Ooh, this one wasn't quite the width of fabric. It's like a 2 inches shy, and it looks like it did have a strip cut off of it, so oh well. Close. So we will have to trim this whole entire side off at some point so it's all equal. So we could piece it together and make a little bag out of the pieces or something. That'd be fun. Alright, grabbing some leaders. I'll have to cut them all off and get them back so I can sew the other side on. Alright, let's check it out now. I mean, if you want to make a quilt fast, just sew some widths of fabric together, I guess. Oh, let's get this guy right now. Uh-oh. Oh, no, good. I thought I sewed the edge into it there, but I didn't. We're fine. Okay, it's coming. So I have no idea how tall this is yet, but I'm sure it's not tall enough. And if it is, I'll just chop it off and start putting things on the side too. So I think I'm just going to continue sewing more onto this and then seeing how far off we are. All right, that's going to be our next piece. Fold that over. So I want to line this edge up. We're actually having a lot of bulk done quicker than I thought, so that's kind of exciting. It's just, oh, what would have been smarter is me sewing some of these, like this piece to the other piece while they're still individual pieces versus like keeping on sewing to the larger piece, but at this point we're already in it, so. Glove, here you are. And we're still sewing, so we're not out of bobbin yet. Fun seeing all these little characters again. It's been a while. Whew, now I'm veering off. Let's see if we can get these edges together again. Oh, well now this piece matches up with the shorter piece, so maybe this is a selvage. Maybe it just looks weird. So I think I might stay right here and just put this back in my lap and grab that last piece. I think maybe that's the easier way to go about this. Alright, so I'm going to shimmy this all back in my lap here to the beginning, and we'll snip this off. And okay. So which is the, so I wanted this top to line up with the bottom, so I think like so. Yep, okay. I think this is how we do this one. And I think this is our last kind of normal with the fabric piece, except for that white that we have a ton of. So I think we want to treat that one a little differently. And we'll probably, I think we'll probably call it an evening with this one. I could press it still. Then it'd be ready to go for whatever we sew onto it next. I feel like I need to lay it on the ground and measure it. Or maybe just get the ruler out here and try and measure it. See if we're close to that 80 inches or so. And we must be. This feels like a lot. So we might have to chop some of this off and put it on the sides, which is totally fine. That's part of improv piecing, chopping it up. Yeah, I think pressing will take a little too long tonight, so I might just give this a quick measure, just on my normal cutting mat here, just shimmying it along by like 20 inches to count, and then to see how much we got going on here. And then we'll set it aside. This is a great start to a back of a quilt, I think. It feels like we got a lot of bulk done, plus we got a binding done. Feeling like I'm making more progress than I thought, so that's good. Getting a little tangled down here, though. Oh. Well, this last one is way longer than this piece that I'm doing. So maybe this piece was trimmed off too. Yeah, these will definitely not be the full 42 to 44 inch width fabric because this is messed up. So we'll have to trim this and we'll have a bunch of like random strips that I can use for other stuff here, which is fine. I'm just going to kind of veer off here. Let's get a leader. Okay, there we are. Looks like a mess of fabric, doesn't it? Alright, I'm gonna first, let's just plop that down. Let's get the rest of this just kind of put back in here so I can put it to the side and see what we got going on here at least. Get all these funny strips in here. Put this piece back in. So we do have a lot of large pieces yet that we can use to flesh out the width, because we'll definitely need more width, so that's good to see. Oh, here's the piece that we did the binding with. We can use that more later. Oh, this one's awkward to fold up though. Because again, tomorrow we'll be doing Finish It Friday, so I won't be working on this, and then we have all this teal yet too. Okay, let's just put this to the side for a sec, and I want to see where we're at with how wide we are. Come on, there we are. Okay. Again, I don't think I'm going to press it tonight, so let's just measure by. Oh, that's 18 inches. Let's open this up. So I'm going to measure by like 20 inches because I can count by 20s. All right, let's find the top of this guy. All right, let's go on this side. Oh, let's take care of him too. All right. So that's 20. 40. Oh gosh, we're only at 60 or so. 60, like 4. So dang, we actually have a lot more to go on this. We have like a whole 20 more inches to go. Wow, a huge piece like this and we still need it taller. That's crazy to me. Yeah, we need at least another 2, we need about this much. Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, well, that's fine. One thing we could do is just kind of work on the middle like this. We could actually just call it this tall and chop it in strips, like how we were talking. We could put some white strips on the inside, which I think would be kind of neat. It'd be something, I guess, is what it'd be. And then when we're done, we could put just a really big border around too. Just make something of the middle here. So anyway, this is quite the good start for a back, though, I think. And we're using all this fun fabric that I've just had sitting around for ages and ages, so that makes me happy too. All right, everyone, so there we are. It's big already, 60 inches or so already. So this feels great, like I said. Got a whole binding done, got a huge chunk of this back, at least, physically feeling like there's a lot done. I know we might play around with it a little bit and chop it up a little bit, but we wouldn't necessarily have to. I'll have to lay this out and see what it looks like on the floor the best I can. We don't really have a big enough floor for the Granny Square Quilt, but you can go up on the edges a little bit onto the couch and stuff. So yeah, and then tomorrow, it's Finish It Friday, so we're going to work on the apron, that green apron. We're stitching those herbs on. However, like I said, it is my second COVID shot in the morning, so I will post in the Facebook group if I don't plan on coming on, like if I just decide to go to bed or something. So we'll see. It's how it goes with the vaccines, right? You're either something or nothing. So we'll just see. So all right, that's that, guys. I will hopefully see you tomorrow, and if not, I will see you back here on Monday. Next week we're working on the Splendid Sampler again. So let's get further on that. All right, thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend and rest of your evening here. And like I said, I'll be here Friday, hopefully. So not weekend yet. But if I'm not, then have a good weekend. So, all right. See you later. Good night.